What if I told you that the people who win in life are not always the smartest, the most talented, or the luckiest, but the ones who simply refuse to quit? Right now, somewhere in the world, two people with the same dream are facing the same struggle. One will stop when it gets hard. The other will push forward anyway. Years from now, their lives will look completely different, and the difference will not be talent, background, or opportunity. It will be grit. This message is for anyone who has ever felt tired, overlooked, or tempted to give up just one step too early. Today, we're going to uncover why grit beats excuses, why persistence reshapes destiny, and why the ability to endure is the real secret behind every lasting success story in America and beyond. Stay with me until the end of this video, because what you're about to hear may change how you see struggle, failure, and your own potential forever. Definite purpose is the invisible engine that fuels grit, because when a person knows exactly what they want, their mind stops negotiating with doubt and starts cooperating with effort. A clear purpose gives meaning to struggle and direction to pain, turning obstacles into necessary experiences rather than reasons to quit. Without a definite purpose, effort feels heavy and progress feels pointless. But with purpose, even exhaustion carries value because it is connected to something deeply desired. People with grit are not driven by moods or temporary motivation. They are driven by a fixed aim that occupies their thoughts, shapes their decisions, and organizes their daily actions. When challenges appear, purpose acts like an anchor, keeping the mind steady while circumstances shift. It creates emotional stamina, allowing a person to endure rejection, delay, and failure without losing identity or confidence. Purpose also sharpens focus, eliminating distractions that drain energy and weaken persistence. Instead of scattering effort across many desires, gritty individuals concentrate their strength in one direction, and this concentration multiplies power. A definite purpose also conditions the subconscious mind to search for solutions rather than excuses, making resilience almost automatic. When setbacks occur, the mind does not ask whether to continue, but how to continue. This inner certainty produces courage, not because fear disappears, but because purpose outweighs fear. Grit grows stronger as purpose deepens, since each small action reinforces belief and each sacrifice confirms commitment. Over time, purpose transforms discipline from a struggle into a habit, because actions align naturally with long-term intention. People without purpose often rely on external encouragement, while people with purpose generate their own drive from within. This internal drive is what allows gritty individuals to keep working when no applause is present and no immediate reward is visible. Purpose also creates patience, teaching the mind to respect timing and trust gradual progress rather than demanding instant results. Through repeated effort guided by a clear aim, confidence is built not from success alone, but from consistency. And consistency is the true foundation of grit. Persistence outlasts talent, because talent without sustained effort quickly reaches its limit, while persistence continues to expand capacity over time. Many individuals begin their journey with natural ability, early praise, or quick results, but when progress slows and resistance appears, talent alone offers no guarantee of continuation. Persistence, however, is the deliberate choice to keep moving forward regardless of pace, recognition, or comfort. It is the habit of showing up consistently, especially on days when enthusiasm is absent and results feel distant. Through repetition and endurance, persistent effort transforms ordinary ability into extraordinary skill, gradually closing the gap between those who started ahead and those who refused to stop. Persistence also develops mental toughness, strengthening the mind to handle pressure, boredom, and frustration without retreat. While talent often depends on favorable conditions, persistence adapts to unfavorable ones, finding ways to improve even in limited circumstances. Each repeated attempt builds experience, and experience compounds into wisdom, giving persistent individuals an advantage that raw talent cannot replicate. Over time, persistence rewires belief, because the mind begins to associate effort with inevitability, creating quiet confidence rooted in action rather than expectation. Persistent people are less affected by comparison, as their focus remains on progress rather than position, allowing them to move steadily while others become distracted or discouraged. Setbacks that discourage the talented often energize the persistent, because each obstacle becomes proof that further effort is required, not that effort is useless. Persistence also increases opportunity, as consistent action exposes individuals to new connections, ideas, and chances that remain invisible to those who quit early. While talent may attract initial attention, persistence earns lasting trust and reliability, qualities that lead to long-term success. Through sustained effort, skills sharpen, weaknesses diminish, and self-discipline strengthens, creating momentum that carries forward even when circumstances fluctuate. In the long run, persistence shapes character, and character sustains achievement, making steady effort the deciding factor that separates those who start strong from those who finish victorious. Failure becomes a teacher rather than a stop sign when the mind is trained to interpret setbacks as feedback instead of final judgment. People with grit do not attach their identity to a single outcome, so when a plan collapses or an effort falls short, they do not see it as personal defeat but as valuable information revealing what does not work. This mindset keeps momentum alive because learning replaces discouragement and curiosity replaces fear. Each failure exposes weaknesses in strategy, preparation, or execution, offering precise guidance for improvement that success rarely provides. Those who persist understand that failure is often the cost of progress, not evidence of incompetence, and that every meaningful achievement carries a history of missteps hidden from public view. By studying failure calmly, gritty individuals extract lessons that sharpen judgment and strengthen decision-making, turning mistakes into tools rather than wounds. This approach builds emotional resilience, allowing them to face repeated setbacks without losing confidence or direction. Instead of retreating, they adjust, refine, and attempt again with greater awareness and control. Failure also develops humility, preventing complacency and keeping the mind open to growth. While others avoid risks to protect their ego, gritty people accept the possibility of failure as a necessary part of advancement, which expands their range of action and experience. Over time, repeated exposure to failure reduces its emotional sting, making persistence easier and more natural. Each recovery from failure reinforces self-trust, proving that setbacks can be survived and overcome. This creates psychological strength that cannot be taught through success alone. As lessons accumulate, progress becomes more efficient, because errors are less likely to be repeated and effort is applied with greater precision. In this way, failure stops being a barrier and becomes a guide, directing effort toward better paths and stronger outcomes, ensuring continued movement forward regardless of temporary defeat. Self-discipline creates inner power by training the mind to act in alignment with long-term intention rather than short-term emotion. People with grit understand that motivation is unreliable, rising and falling with mood and circumstance, while discipline remains steady and dependable. Through disciplined behavior, they develop control over impulses that weaken progress, choosing effort when comfort is tempting and consistency when distraction is easy. Each disciplined action strengthens willpower, making the next act of discipline less demanding and more natural. This repeated self-control builds an internal authority that does not depend on external pressure or supervision. Over time, discipline reshapes identity, as individuals begin to see themselves as capable of doing difficult things regardless of how they feel. This self-image reinforces grit, because belief in one's reliability becomes stronger than fear of discomfort. Discipline also organizes energy, ensuring that time and focus are invested in actions that produce growth rather than temporary relief. By maintaining routines and standards, gritty individuals reduce decision fatigue, allowing progress to continue even during stress or uncertainty. Discipline creates emotional stability by preventing reactions from dictating behavior, which protects momentum during challenging periods. While talent may spark opportunity, discipline sustains effort through repetition and refinement. It enables individuals to practice when results are invisible and to persist when rewards are delayed. Through disciplined habits, skills improve, confidence deepens, and resilience expands. Self-discipline also builds trust, both self-trust and the trust of others, because consistent behavior signals reliability and strength of character. This trust opens doors and creates opportunities that inconsistent effort cannot access. As discipline becomes ingrained, actions align effortlessly with purpose, and resistance fades. Inner power grows quietly through this alignment, creating a sense of control and direction that remains unshaken by external chaos or temporary setbacks. Faith in self builds unshakable confidence because it forms an internal certainty that is not dependent on external validation, approval, or immediate results. People with grit develop this faith through repeated commitment to their own vision, even when evidence of success is absent. This belief is not blind optimism, but a deep conviction that effort applied consistently will eventually produce results. When self-faith is present, doubt loses its power to paralyze action, and fear becomes a signal to move forward rather than retreat. Gritty individuals trust their capacity to learn, adapt, and recover, which allows them to face uncertainty without losing direction. This faith stabilizes the mind during setbacks, preventing emotional collapse when plans fail or progress slows. Instead of questioning their worth or ability, they question their methods and continue refining their approach. Faith in self also strengthens decision-making, because choices are guided by inner conviction rather than outside pressure or comparison. This independence creates mental clarity and reduces hesitation, allowing action to flow even under pressure. As effort is sustained, small wins accumulate, reinforcing belief and deepening confidence. Over time, confidence becomes rooted not in outcomes but in identity, the identity of someone who follows through, regardless of conditions. This internal confidence radiates outward, influencing how others respond, opening doors of trust, leadership, and opportunity. Faith in self also protects energy, as gritty individuals are less affected by criticism or temporary rejection. They listen, learn, and adjust without absorbing negativity into their self-image. This resilience allows momentum to continue uninterrupted. As belief strengthens, courage expands, making it easier to take risks, pursue ambitious goals, and remain committed through long delays. Faith transforms patience into strength and waiting into preparation. It creates emotional endurance, enabling sustained effort when enthusiasm fades. Through this belief, effort feels meaningful rather than forced, and persistence becomes innate. Neural expression of self-respect and inner alignment. Time works for the persistent, because consistent effort compounds quietly, while most people underestimate the power of staying committed over long periods. Those with grit understand that meaningful success rarely appears instantly, and that progress often remains invisible before it becomes undeniable. While quitters judge their efforts by short-term results, persistent individuals measure progress by discipline, learning, and consistency, allowing them to remain steady during slow phases. Each day of effort adds a small layer of improvement, and over time these layers accumulate into significant advantage. Persistence allows skills to mature, judgment to sharpen, and confidence to deepen, even when external rewards are delayed. Time also filters competition, because many abandon their goals when outcomes take longer than expected, leaving space for those who endure. As others withdraw, the persistent move forward with less resistance and greater clarity. Long-term effort builds credibility and trust, qualities that attract opportunities naturally. People who remain committed over time are seen as reliable, and reliability opens doors that talent alone cannot. Persistence also aligns effort with natural cycles, recognizing that growth has seasons of acceleration and seasons of preparation. By respecting this rhythm, gritty individuals avoid frustration and remain emotionally balanced. Time gives them perspective, reducing impulsive decisions and strengthening patience. Each setback experienced and survived adds emotional depth and resilience, making future challenges less intimidating. Over extended periods, persistence transforms identity, as individuals come to see themselves as long-term builders rather than short-term achievers. This mindset reduces anxiety and increases focus, because success is no longer rushed but expected. Time rewards those who refuse to quit by amplifying effort, multiplying experience, and revealing opportunities only visible to those still present. In this way, persistence turns time from an enemy into an ally, steadily shaping outcomes that could never be achieved through speed alone. In conclusion, the reason people with grit always win is not because they avoid struggle, but because they embrace it with purpose, persistence, discipline, faith, and patience. Grit transforms ordinary effort into extraordinary results by keeping the mind focused when circumstances test resolve. It turns failure into instruction, time into an ally, and effort into a powerful force that compounds daily. While talent may open the door and opportunity may create a chance, grit is what carries a person through resistance, delay, and doubt. Those who refuse to quit, who continue to act with intention even when progress feels slow, inevitably rise above challenges that stop others. Success, in its truest form, belongs to those who stay committed long after the excitement fades and the road becomes difficult. Good luck on your journey toward becoming stronger, wiser, and more determined than yesterday. May you carry grit in your thoughts, discipline in your actions, and belief in your heart. Thank you for your time, your attention, and your willingness to invest in your own growth.